Let's look at techniques to help students learn about the value of fractions. We're using free online visual tools from Conceptua Math, and this is the Order Fractions on a Number Line tool. I'll demonstrate how to use this effectively for a 5 to 15-minute class discussion. We begin by placing fractions on the screen, using this icon in the upper right-hand corner. And now we begin to declare the value of each one of those fractions. For instance, I'll make this fraction 1/4. We'll focus on fourths to begin with. And I'll make this fraction 2/4. I'm deliberately placing them so they're not in order. So in the middle of all this, I'm going to place 1/2, an important benchmark fraction, and here 3/4. Now the next step is to lock them so I can start to use them. Here's where the class discussion begins. Students working in groups, working in pairs, can start to discuss questions that you pose. For instance, you might ask, where are these fractions going to be placed on the number line? You can be as specific or vague as you want to, depending upon the level of your student group. You could say, well, where's the 1/2 going to be located? How about 2/4? How about 1/4? And have students discuss it with their partner, with their group, and then talk about the justification for their decision. 1/2 is an important benchmark. We could begin by saying, we know the 1/2 belongs here. Now, if we change the presentation of that benchmark fraction and look at it as a circle fraction, then we can see visually that the 1/2 and the 2/4 are in fact representing the same value. So this could help students arrive at the discovery that they'll be placed in the same location on the number line. 3/4 and 1/4, a whole interesting discussion can take place. Where do we place 3/4 on the number line? Where do we place 1/4? For a young group, what we might do with 3/4 and 1/4 is to divide the number line into fourths. Currently we see half, now we see fourths. So we can begin with a 1-to-1 correspondence, placing the 1/4 where it belongs, etc. I hope this gives you some ideas. I'm going to place some different fractions on the number line and show you how this is moved up one step. So I've made that change. And now we have fifths. 4/5, 2/5, 1/5, 3/5, and 1/2. That benchmark fraction is still here. We can recalibrate the number line, showing fourths, now fifths. And this again helps students with that 1-to-1 correspondence. We can have them talk in groups and partners and have individuals come up to the whiteboard or use a computer. You don't need a whiteboard. It's great to have, like this Polyvision whiteboard. And then what the students can do then is to place the fraction in the exact location based on the demarcations on the number line. What gets interesting is when the students have an opportunity to consider where 1/2 will belong on this number line. And a whole conversation can take place where students come to the discovery that 1/2 is midway between 2/5 and 3/5. This is something you want to have arise out of conversation because 1/2 really is 2.5 And you might find manipulatives in your classroom or other ways to represent how 2.5 really shows 1/2. Realize that as students become more and more acquainted with these fractional values, understanding truly what they are, we can recalibrate the number line. Now there are no demarcations between 0 and 1, and it becomes a really intriguing task to be as accurate as possible within reason. You, the teacher, can make determination about what is reasonable as students begin with 1/2 and then determine where relative to the 1/2, the 0 and the 1, do the rest of these fractions go. A wonderful exercise helping students to understand the value of fractions.